So then, our application is pretty much complete, but there's one more thing I want to do before we deploy this to Firebase, and that is to change the mode of our routing so that we don't use this hash and instead we use the history API. So then, to do that, we know we have to go to the routes file over here, and inside the router object, we'll place another property called mode, and we'll set this to history, like so. Okay, so if we save this now and view this in a browser, we can get rid of this hash, press enter, and hopefully this will still work. So if I enter the chat now, then we should go to /chat instead of #/chat. Okay, cool, so that works. Now we want to deploy this to Firebase. So then, if you go to hosting and look at the instructions, it's going to say, first of all, npm install -g Firebase tools to install Firebase tools globally on your computer. Now, hopefully, if you've watched the last chapter, you've already done this. If not, just run this command first of all in your console. Okay, so if we continue, the next thing to do is run Firebase login. Again, hopefully you did that in the last chapter as well, but if you need to log in, run this command first. Then we say Firebase init to initialize our Firebase project locally. So let's do that first of all. We'll go over to our terminal, make sure we're in the correct directory, and we'll say Firebase init. So this is going to initialize the project for us on the front end and ask us a few different questions. So are you ready to proceed? Yep. Okay, what do we want to use? We want to use the Firestore, press space to select these different things, and hosting. Then press enter. And now it's going to ask us to associate with a project that we've created on Firebase online over here. So we created one called Ninja or Udemy Ninja Chat, the bottom one right there. So I'll press enter there. What files should be used for our Firestore rules? That's fine. Rules, that's fine as well. What do you want as your public directory? We want a folder called dist, because when we run the build command for our Vue application, it's going to create a dist folder. So we want to upload that dist folder. So press enter. Configure a single page app. Rewrite all URLs to index.html. We want to press yes here. And this is what is going to configure the server to allow us to use the history mode right here on the front end and do all of that server-side work for us. So press yes. And now it's complete. Cool. So the next thing we need to do before we deploy this is actually run a build command to build up this project that we've created so that it puts it inside this dist folder right here and replaces the dummy index.html that Firebase has just created for us. So we say npm run build to do that. Okay, cool. So the build is complete. The next thing we want to do is take this dist folder and deploy it to Firebase. To do that, we just say Firebase deploy, like so. Okay then, so once that's deployed, we should be able to go over to our Firebase console and see the URL to our application now. If we click on that, then we should see the application in the browser. Awesome. Let's just make sure this works. Enter the chat. And we should see in a second all of those different messages we do. Cool. And we can add messages like so. So there we go. That's our second application up and running with Firebase.